Welcome to the Caltex Theatre, a full hour of dramatic entertainment broadcast over a nationwide network of stations throughout Australia. The Caltex Theatre is brought to you by Caltex Oil, marketers of over 1,000 outstanding petroleum products, in association with Caltex dealers and distributors everywhere. Tonight in the Caltex Theatre, you will hear A Leap in the Dark, the story of a doctor living in a totalitarian state who dared to believe in the kindness and goodness of the human race, and of the woman who repaid his faith. Starring tonight, you will hear Lyndall Barbour, Murray Powell, and Frank Waters. The Caltex Theatre presents A Leap in the Dark, Act 1.
The District Commissioner is coming here tonight, Johann.
Brunsberg himself? No, more trouble.
Brunsberg himself. Are you afraid, Johann?
There is always reason for fear when the authorities call, in a police state like Solania.
They're sending me a new boarder this evening, a woman called Jani Milan.
Jani Milan? Thelma, wasn't she the girl who was supposed to be living with General Heiselden when he was bumped off?
Was she? You were across at the clinic this afternoon, weren't you, Johann? What does Dr. Drew think of you?
Always the optimist. Says my sight might return. What do these official state doctors know anyway? No more than the marshal and his yes-men who appoint them?
Johann, please.
Why? There's nobody who can hear.
You never know. You should get into the habit of thinking there always might be somebody.
Paul Prislak, for instance?
Don't talk about Paul Prislak. I hate him.
Do you?
Yes. Unfortunately, I've got to put up with him living in my house for many reasons. But I hate him. Here's Lily with your coffee. I'll go and prepare a room for the new guest.
I'm sorry your coffee's late, Johann. I didn't forget it, but I've been scrubbing out rooms.
Never mind, Lily. Thank you. Sit near me.
All right. There. Aunt Thelma's in an awful temper. She's been chasing me ever since they phoned that Brunsberg was coming.
I suppose she's worried, like all of us. She's had a tough time. After all this mess up in our country and losing her husband. Of course, you wouldn't understand. You're only a child.
Don't keep saying that. I'm 17. Oh, I know you're nearly twice that, but I'm old enough to be called up. I'll be made to go into a factory soon. That is, unless I'm married, Johann.
You're very sweet, Lily. But I'm a useless husk at present.
Oh, Johann.
Now stop pitying me. There's no reason why you should. I've told you that before.
I know. But I can't help it. And you just won't believe I'm grown up. And I really do love you.
Well, it'd be lovely if you remain that way.
Well. Making advances to our chaste little Lily, eh, Comrade de Koning?
Prislak.
I must go and finish the rooms. Excuse me.
Well, just a minute, my sweet.
I've got better things to do, thank you, Comrade Prislak.
Sly little devil, that one.
Nothing of the sort. She's a sweet kid.
Won't be for long if she doesn't watch her step the way she's been chumming up with those Americans and British from the medical mission across the road.
What's wrong with the Americans and the British?
They're warmongers, enemies of freedom and bloated capitalists.
Did you say freedom?
You be careful, de Koning. If I were to report some of the things you've said, Comrade Brunsberg.
But you won't. I know a little too much about you, comrade.
Really? What, for instance?
I know you've blackmailed Thelma into having an affair with you. I know about a few black market transactions you've carried out. The state doesn't like comrades who dabble in the black market, especially comrades who hold positions in government offices.
Now look here, old man, I was only joking. You don't suppose I'd go telling tales about you or Lily, do you?
No, I don't suppose you will. No. It'd be very foolish if you did.
Come and meet some of my other guests in here.
Ah, this will be our new boarder.
This is Comrade Prislak, Paul, Miss Yanni Milan.
How do you do?
Welcome to our household, comrade.
And this is Comrade Johann de Koning. He's blind.
Oh. How do you do?
How do you do, Miss Milan?
Now, will you come with me and I'll show you to your room?
Thank you. Excuse me. The rest of my luggage is being sent from the country. I've been there for some weeks. I've not been well.
Just what the doctor ordered. You know who she is, don't you? You've heard about old Heiselden's girlfriend. She was it. Before he died.
Why was General Hazelden shot? You know?
They say he was mixed up with the Patriot movement. He was supposed to have plotted to lure the Marshal to some out-of-the-way place and murder him.
He'd take some luring. The Marshal hasn't been outside the castle for months.
She doesn't look very upset by her boyfriend's sudden death. Wonder they didn't shoot her, too. Oh, that'll be Brunsberg now. If he wants me, I'll be up in my room.
Why so shy suddenly? Why should he want you, anyway?
You never can tell.
It's odd.
Please come in, Comrade Brunsberg. You know Comrade de Koning, of course.
Of course. How are your eyes? Can you see anything yet?
Just the difference between darkness and light, that's all.
Well, that's something. I thought Dr. Drew would have had you cured completely by this time. He's supposed to be so clever. And now, if you'll leave us alone, I have business to talk with Comrade Chinovsky here.
Then I'll leave you together, of course. No, please don't bother. I can find my own way quite well.
Don't know that I like that chap. What's he do?
Types most of the time. He's writing a novel.
We'll see if he can be given some proper work to do. Now, how old is that niece of yours?
Lily? She was 17 last month.
Just right for factory work.
But I'm all alone here. And I have 4 boarders now.
Well, I may be able to defer her drafting, and then you can keep her here as a help. What about the Englishman, Dr. Drew? No trouble?
Oh, no. A very nice man. Always working at his clinic over there in the church, day and night.
I take it this Yanni Milan has turned up. Now, the state doesn't like women who live or lived with traitors. This one may be harmless, and she may be otherwise. If you find out anything suspicious, you ring up my office and tell me at once. Now find Prislak and tell him I want him.
Yes, comrade. I think he's in his room.
And Yanni Milan. I want her after him.
Yes, comrade. Oh, here's Comrade Prislak now.
You wish to see me, Comrade Commissioner?
Yes, I do. You sent this letter containing information about Dr. Drew to my office?
Yes, comrade. He works in the church.
I know. He works in the crypt. It's been turned into a clinic. His Anglo-American mission has furnished and equipped it at great expense.
Yes, but the chapel is still open. The image of the miraculous St. Rita still stands there.
Well?
People still go there to pray, and Dr. Drew holds services, and religious services are forbidden by law in Solania.
His medical mission is a very wealthy one.
Yes, comrade.
The Church of St. Rita is historic. That is why it is exempted from the general order about closing churches. Furthermore, the Marshal, who, as you know, is not well at present, the Marshal has a sentimental regard for the Church of St. Rita. I don't think he'd be very pleased with your story. But I commend your alertness. I see you've applied for transfer to the police department. I'll bear it in mind. But now I want a few words with Comrade Milan.
She is just outside. I'll call her. Thank you very much, Comrade Commissioner. Comrade Milan?
I'm here.
Come in, comrade. Oh, no. So you were Heiselden's girlfriend?
I was.
Of course. I
I never got round to knowing you when you were working in the nightclubs. A pity. Do you know why Heiselden was shot?
No.
Do you know by whom he was shot?
No.
Weren't you interested to find out?
Not particularly.
He was shot by us because he was plotting with the Patriots to overthrow the Marshal. But you were allowed to skip off to the country for a few weeks because we didn't think you knew anything about it. But people who live with traitors are always suspect till they prove themselves good citizens. You can be useful to us, I think. We're prepared to give you a chance to prove yourself a loyal citizen of the state.
I'd like that. How?
There's something going on here we don't understand.
What is it you suspect?
A plot against the leader. I'm almost sure that Johann de Koning is one of the Patriots.
The blind man?
Blindness doesn't stop people plotting. And then there's the doctor. He's British and religious. And the woman, Thelma Chanovsky, and her niece. She's restless.
And the other man who lives here?
And Prislak? He's all right. What are you going to do now with Heiselden gone? Found yourself someone else?
Nobody worthwhile, so far.
You're my type, Yanni. Play this the right way. Get yourself in the clear, and we'll see. Understand?
I understand.
Good evening.
What? Oh, good evening, Dr. True.
I'm glad to find you here, Mr. Brunsberg. I was going to write you about my Red Cross truck, the one that goes to our depot over the border every week for supplies. You remember we used to have your personal pass so that it went and came back without being searched?
Haven't you still got one?
It expired. Last week we were searched.
I'll arrange for a renewal.
Thank you very much.
And now, if you'll excuse me, I must go. I'm very busy. Good night, Dr. True. Comrade Balan.
Good night.
Good night. Well, I suppose I'd better introduce myself. I'm Dominic Drew of the Anglo-American Mission.
How do you do, Doctor? I'm Yanni Milan. I've come to stay here as a boarder.
Well, I hope you'll be very happy here.
Is that you, Dr. Drew?
Oh, hello, Johann. You met Miss Milan?
Yes, we have met.
Eyes not paining after those drops I put in, Johann?
No, they're fine, thanks, Doctor.
Good, good. Well, I must go and tidy up before supper. See you both later.
Yes. How very nice you smell.
That's an original line, I must say.
You're very attractive, aren't you?
Is that guesswork or hearsay?
Instinct. We get it when we go blind, you know.
Johann, Aunt Thelma said I could have the evening off. And I thought you might like a little walk.
Well, I would, but one of the boys is calling for me. We're going up to the club for a little after supper.
Oh, I see.
Thanks anyway, Lily. Oh, have you met Miss Milan?
No. How do you do?
How are you, Lily?
Lily, tell your aunt I won't be in for supper tonight, will you?
You might have said so earlier. It's ready now.
Come on, Lily, I'm hungry. Let's go and start. Are you coming, Miss Milan?
In a minute.
Well, Miss Milan, feeling a little strange in your new surroundings? You'll soon get used to us, don't worry.
Getting used to people has been my job.
Really?
What about you? A doctor in a church. What do? Pray for your patients to get better?
Yes, I do.
What? You don't mean that.
I think it's more powerful than all the surgery and medicine put together. I've seen it act. I've had results.
You think you're some sort of faith healer, then?
Everybody is a faith healer, if they have faith.
Yes, if. But you soon grow out of having faith.
Some of us grow into it. Shall we go into supper?
Miss Milan, at supper you said something in passing about the Marshal being ill. We've heard rumours, of course, but what is the matter with him?
He had a stroke.
A stroke?
He's over the worst of it now, except his right arm's weak and he drags his left leg badly. But he still stays in the castle and they try to keep it secret. Beats me how they expect to in a country where if you blow your nose it's reported to the chief of police in triplicate.
You're very candid in your opinions.
Oh, I say what I think. If people don't like it, it's too bad. Of course, I was spoilt. My mother was a good woman. She worked like a slave to keep me and my sister.
Oh, you have a sister?
Yes, I have a sister. Finally, Mother killed herself trying to earn a living for us. There was no money, so I went out and got some. My sister was too young to wonder where it came from. Maybe she thought the fairies brought it. Some fairies.
Poor child. What a terrible time you must have had.
I'm not grumbling. I've always had somewhere to live and plenty to eat. Finally, I met Hazelden. I think I've been lucky.
And your sister? What happened to her?
She's not been so lucky.
Well, I'm tired. I think I'll get to bed. Good night, Doctor.
Good night, Mrs. Charnovsky.
Good night, Miss Millard. I hope you sleep well.
Thank you. Good night. She doesn't like me. I suppose she's shocked at what I've been saying. Are you shocked?
Not at all. I think you've had a very raw deal.
No. No, I'm just no good.
Tell me, what are you going to do with yourself? Have you a job?
Well, a job of sorts. Why, were you going to offer me one?
No, but I thought in your spare time you might perhaps take Johann out a little.
I thought that girl, the niece, would do that. She's in love with him, isn't she?
Yes, she is. But she's only a child.
Yes, maybe. All right, I'll look after him as much as I can.
Thank you. He's rather an odd sort of a case. He went blind after severe head injuries, but the optic nerves were not destroyed. Of course, he's the nervous, highly strung type, as you probably noticed.
Do you mean he could get his sight back?
Oh, yes, he could. I'm hoping very much that will happen, even though he's been blind for such a long time. 4 years, according to his medical history sheet.
I'm glad he has someone kind like you to look after him. And thank you for being so nice to me on my first night in a strange house.
I think you're a very much nicer person than you say you are, or think you are. I think you could easily be very sweet.
You think I... Good night, Dr. Drew.
Good night. Good night, Yanni.
You know, Johann, I've noticed it a lot these last 3 weeks.
Yes?
Sometimes you stare at me just as if you could see me.
Do I, Yanni?
Your hand's trembling tonight. What's the matter?
Nothing. I'm just a little tired. There seemed to be a lot of people in the street just now. The windows were open. I heard a lot of voices.
A crowd round the church. I wonder what's happened.
Nothing, I hope. Thelma and Lily out there. You know, the doctor encourages sick people to go to the chapel and pray to St. Rita for healing.
You surely don't believe in that, do you?
You're so cynical. Yet I still love you, Yanni.
Oh, Johann, I wish you'd come to the church. The most wonderful thing, 2 miracles.
2 miracles, Lily?
Well, they certainly seem to be. There was a girl who'd been hurt in an accident, and she was crippled. She could walk only with crutches.
She'd been praying to St. Rita, Johann, and Dr. Drew put his hands on her head and prayed. And then it happened. Her crutches fell from her side and she was standing alone. She walked alone.
Certainly sounds dramatic.
And after that, there was someone you know, Johann. Anthony Slashak. He used to be in the army.
No, I don't know.
Oh, we thought you did. Anyway, he was stone deaf, and now he can hear. Oh, Johann, just think. If a deaf man can be cured, why not a blind man?
We'll see, Lily. We'll see.
What nonsense. Some people get deaf and blind and lame through hysteria.
Crashing from 10,000 feet is inclined to make one slightly hysterical, you know, Yanni.
Darling, you know I wasn't talking about you. I meant other people. Isn't it strange that Dr. Drew should pull off 2 miracles in one day, just when his church so badly needs a boost?
Are you suggesting there was anything not straightforward in this? There were plenty of witnesses. It was the touch of God. These things do happen.
So the fairy books say. Only I don't believe in fairies.
Naturally. As you've spent most of your life with people who don't believe in anything except the power of brute force.
What's the matter with brute force? It's better than being half dead. And it gets you somewhere. Sometimes.
Everything Dr. Drew says or does, she scoffs at. The nicer he is to her, the more she resents it.
It's because she's half in love with him.
Well, did you two enjoy yourselves at the prayer meeting?
Were you there?
We didn't see you, Paul.
That is the art of observing, to see and not be seen. Our dear doctor had better watch his step. What happened tonight looked to be very like a religious service, and the state forbids religious services. Where's Yanni?
Up in her room, I think.
I'll go and call her. We're dining out together. Going places afterward.
What?
Yes. Any objections? See you later.
I hope his dinner chokes him. And her.
She said nothing to me about going out with him.
The doctor will be tired when he comes in. I'll get his supper ready. Come along, Lily.
In a minute, Auntie. Are you cross with me, Johann? Because I said she was in love with the doctor.
Of course not. It's just silly. You don't understand.
And you're cross because she's going out with that Paul.
Oh, look, darling, let's talk of something else.
Johann? You're not... You haven't fallen in love with her, have you?
Of course not. Why?
I couldn't stand it if you had. She'd be no good to you. She doesn't love anybody but herself.
I'll help you into supper, Lily, did I tell you?
No. Comrade Prieslock told us. I'd better go and help Auntie get it ready.
Yanni, you mustn't pay any attention to what Thelma said just now. She didn't mean it. Forget it.
Why? It's the truth. Heiselden bought me as he bought his horses and his cigars. That's what she meant, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. And I don't think any of those things about you. All I think is how lovely you are. Come here, Yanni. Closer. Oh, Yanni. You're not going out with Prieslock tonight, are you?
Yes, I am.
No, stay with me or come out with me instead.
I can't, my sweet. But I'll come home early. He wants me to go on somewhere and dance, but I won't. I'll come back early. To you.
Hello there, you two.
Oh, hello, Doctor. Lily and Thelma told us what happened at the church. You must be very happy about it.
Yes, I am.
How does it feel to be a miracle worker? A healer?
I'm not. I've never healed anybody. Nobody does. Except God. We are simply instruments.
I don't believe in miracles. I think people who are cured by faith never really had much to complain about in the first place.
You think the deaf man and the crippled girl tonight were just imagining their ills?
People sometimes imagine they're much worse than they are.
I think I once told you that about yourself.
And I told you I'm quite hopeless. I've no faith, I'm no good.
On the contrary, you're full of good. Excuse me. I must go and see if there's any mail for me in the hall.
Well,
He makes me feel an awful hypocrite.
why? Why a hypocrite?
He's such a good man. So tolerant and human.
It's easy for some people to be good.
Yanni, I'm just going out to get a taxi. Shan't be a minute.
All right.
Good night, Johann.
Good night. Have a good time.
You bet we will.
Yanni, I'm going to supper now. Come back as soon as you can.
All right. Good night, Johann.
Good night. Any mail, Doctor?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Well, Yanni, not having supper with us tonight.
No, I'm dining out with Paul.
Oh. You're looking very lovely.
Avert your eyes as usual, Doctor. It's safer. That's a taxi. I must go. Goodbye.
Yanni,
Yes?
will you be late?
I don't know. Why?
I wanted to have a little talk with you. It's rather important.
I'm sorry, but Johann's sitting up for me. If I get home in time.
10 o'clock. Yanni is late returning. Ah, strange. She must have forgotten a key. Yanni,
Dr. Drew,
Yes, I'm Dr. Drew.
I wonder if I could come in a minute. I wanted to see you.
Yes, of course. This way. Can I help you? Those crutches look awkward. Here. Sit down there. I'll put the crutches against the wall. You aren't one of my patients in the clinic, are you?
No, but I was there this evening in the church. And I saw what happened. And I'd been praying. And then nothing happened to me. I was still a cripple. And I felt perhaps you'd help me. And when Yanni went out...
Yanni? You know her?
Yes. Yanni is my sister.
And so the curtain falls on Act 1 of tonight's Caltex Theatre play, A Leap in the Dark.
In the spring, the nature-loving Australian goes bush. He cruises contentedly, the city's hazards behind him. With a tank full of Caltex butane-boosted gasoline, he cruises non-stop for hours. Peace and contentment are his. Time to refuel with Caltex butane-boosted gasoline. Driving into a Caltex station, he says without hesitation,
what brand of gasoline you sell here?
The Caltex Theatre now presents Lyndall Barbour, Murray Powell, and Frank Waters in A Leap in the Dark, Act 2.
You're Yanni Mullane's sister?
Yes, Dr. Drew.
What brings you here to the capital?
I want you to pray for me, with me in the church, as you did for those two this evening. I want you to try and heal me.
Of course I will. What is your name?
Francesca. But everyone calls me Frankie.
You've got a lot of faith, Frankie. That's a splendid thing. Tell me, what's the matter with you? Polio? Infantile paralysis? Is that what they called it?
Yes. Both my legs are almost useless.
How long have you been like this?
6 years. I felt funny one day, lightheaded and pains all over. Then I fell down some stairs and the next thing I remember I was in bed and couldn't use my legs. I've been like that ever since.
Nothing else? You were never in an iron lung?
No.
And your arms or chest were not affected? Just turn around and let me examine your spine. Thank you, that's it. Was there an epidemic of polio when you were taken ill?
Yes, there were several cases.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does it often hurt in that particular spot?
Yes, especially if I'm tired.
Interesting. Frankie, I want to x-ray you and examine your spine, perhaps under an anesthetic. Can you come to the clinic first thing in the morning? You could stay here in the house for the night.
Oh, no. Yanni mustn't know I've been here. She's forbidden me to come to the capital. She's forbidden me to go anywhere where she works or stays.
My dear, she won't know, I promise you that. But I must examine you with the proper equipment. You see, I think it's possible you never really had infantile paralysis at all.
You mean you might make me walk again?
I can't promise you anything, Frankie, but there is a chance. I'll arrange for a bed for you without Yanni knowing. Lily?
Yes, Doctor?
Can you come here a minute, please?
Coming, Doctor. Oh, I didn't know there was a...
Lily, this is Frankie, Yanni's sister.
Oh, how do you do?
We need your help urgently. Can you get her something to eat and fix her up with a bed for tonight?
Yes, she can sleep with me in my big bed off the kitchen.
Lily, it's very important that Yanni doesn't know she's staying here tonight. You'll keep her hidden, won't you?
Oh, yes, but Auntie
I'll speak to your aunt in the morning. She'll understand. So there you are, Frankie, all fixed, bed and breakfast.
Well, it's terribly kind of you both. But you mustn't get it wrong about Yanni, Doctor. She's the loveliest person in the world, and the kindest.
Yes. She's very sweet, Frankie, and we all love her. Don't we, Doctor?
Yes, of course. Now go and have a good night's sleep, and don't worry, Frankie. Everything's in the best possible hands.
Yes, I know. I believe that now.
So there you are, Yanni.
Yes. Where's Johann?
Gone to the club with a friend, said he wouldn't be long. Thelma and Lily have gone to bed.
Oh. You said you wanted to talk to me about something.
About Johann. Yanni, I want you to leave him alone.
Leave him alone? In what way?
I know I asked you to look after him, but you're overdoing it. Lily's in love with him, and until you came along, I think he was in love with her.
And now you think he's in love with me?
I think he's infatuated by you at the present. That's quite natural. You're an extremely attractive woman. But you're not being kind to Johann. You're only playing around with him for amusement or for purposes of your own.
And what are my purposes?
I don't know.
Well, I'm glad there's something you don't know.
And there's another thing. I've told you I think his blindness could be cured. I've been hoping he'd come to the church, and I think after what's happened that he may do so now. Please don't scoff at the idea and talk him out of it, if he wishes to come for healing.
You know, Dominic... Oh, do you mind if I call you Dominic?
Of course not.
I don't think there's any necessity for Johann to go to the church.
What do you mean?
I don't think he's blind at all.
What?
I think he can see perfectly well.
Oh, that's impossible.
When I came back tonight, there was a car parked opposite the house. Johann was sitting in the back seat, leaning forward, staring up at the house. Why, if he couldn't see?
But what possible object could Johann have in pretending to be blind when he isn't?
I don't know, but that... Listen, there he is now. You can soon find out. When he comes in here, I want you to be kissing me.
Oh, kiss you?
He's a very jealous man. Watch his face. If he can see us kissing, his face will show it. Then we'll know.
But
Now, hold me. Tighter. Tighter.
So that's why you left me and came back so early.
Paul!
Hello, Priest Luck.
Come on in here, Johann. It's a pity you can't see because you've missed something. Your girlfriend and the good doctor locked in a passionate embrace.
What? Yanni and Dr. True?
Johann, we were only fooling. It was a joke. I came back early to see you, as I said I would.
So I gather. I'm rather tired. I think I'll go straight up to my room. Good night.
But Johann...
Good night, Johann.
Well, I won't intrude. Please carry on with your little joke. Good night.
I'm sorry about that. It didn't give your test much of a chance, did it?
I wouldn't have been able to see anything anyhow. Did you have to kiss me like that?
But you asked me to.
Not like that. Not as if you really meant it.
But I did mean it.
What? It's impossible. A man like you can never have any feelings towards a woman like me. Except possibly pity or contempt.
Yanni, listen to me.
I won't listen to you. I don't want to. I'm not a patient, and I don't want to be treated. And I don't want to be saved. I know where I'm going, and I'm going there with my eyes open. And I know where you belong. Well, stay there and leave me alone.
I don't understand why you're so upset.
No, I don't suppose you do. Nor do I understand why I expected you to be different from other men. But I did. Well, I don't any longer.
I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't mean to. But I'm not sorry you asked me to kiss you. I wanted to. I welcomed the opportunity. And it wasn't because I was sorry for you. I wanted to. And I can't see anything wrong with it. I'm glad, too, that you've discovered at last that I'm not different from other men. I'm not. Except that I would never do anything to hurt you.
That's what you say. But it's people like you who always do hurt people like me. The other sort I can deal with. I'm used to men like that. But I'm not used to men like you, and I don't want to be. Stay out of my life and leave me alone. Don't bother to try and save my soul, because I don't think I've got one. And if I have, you couldn't save it, nor could anyone else. It's too late. Much too late.
These last 3 weeks, it's been like old times again, Johann. Except that you never used to put your arm around me like this.
You hadn't grown up then, Lily, my sweet.
I seem to have grown up quite a lot lately. You know, I was awfully anxious for a while over you and Yanni. I wonder why she suddenly became so different toward you. The doctor's different too, don't you think?
I haven't noticed.
I think he and Yanni had a good old quarrel. A lover's quarrel.
Lily, you're just an incurably romantic, silly little thing. They hadn't a thing in common. She even scoffed at what he believes in. Couldn't possibly have any real interest in her.
Do you believe in what he does?
Yes, I think so.
Then why don't you go to the church, darling? Why don't you let him try? Look what he's done for that girl.
What girl?
Oh, didn't you hear about her? A girl who was almost crippled with paralysis. She can walk a little now.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Well, tell me about her. When did this happen?
I don't know. It was a sort of secret. Perhaps the doctor didn't want Paul to know. Now he's got his job in the police department, he'd do anything to get Dr. Drew into trouble, you know. Oh, I'm so glad he and Auntie aren't friendly anymore. He frightens me, Johann.
Don't worry about him, Lily. I'll look after you.
Will you, darling? For always?
For always, darling. Well, I must go and hammer out a letter on the old typewriter. Then I've got to go down to the club for a minute. Like to walk down with me?
I'd love to.
Good. I'll be down soon.
Hello.
Oh. Hello, Comrade Priestluck.
Lily, I've got some news for you. Now I'm in the police. I've got an apartment of my own. I move in next week.
Do you? Good.
I'm entitled to domestic help to look after the apartment and me. I applied for you.
For me?
Yes, I've got an order signed by the Director of Labour. You move in with me next week.
No! I won't go anywhere with you. I hate you.
What's the matter, Lily?
Lily won't have to go to a factory. I've arranged for her to become my housekeeper. Here's the order signed by the director.
It's outrageous. She's only a child.
I won't do it. I won't.
What's going on?
Yanni, look at this order. It's signed by the Director of Labour.
Let me see. Oh.
Comrade Brunsbeck promised she could stay here.
He can't control Labour.
Can't he? That's news to me. I'll mention it to him next time I see him. Meanwhile, there's only one thing to do with this document. This.
All right. Now you've torn up an official state document. We'll have a showdown over this.
You'll have a showdown with Brunsberg if you're not careful. He and I will soon be on excellent terms. So you'd better find yourself another housekeeper, hadn't you, Comrade Priestluck?
All right. But I won't forget this in a hurry.
Oh, thank you, Yanni. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. It was very good of you. Excuse me.
Yanni, that wasn't true about you and Brunsberg.
I don't know. Some women have to live a funny sort of life, Lily, and I'm one of them, apparently. Just be thankful you aren't, eh?
You ready, Lily?
She's ready, Johann.
Oh, hello, Yanni. I didn't know you were here.
Johann, where was Dr. Drew going in that big car just after lunch?
Car? I don't know. I wonder. Well, come on, Lily. I don't want to be long.
Oh, but there's no hurry, Johann. Supper's not until 8.
Never mind. I've got to get back quickly.
Yanni, is Dr. Drew back from the castle yet?
No, not... The castle?
The marshal sent for him. He's coming to the church tonight. I've just had a phone call from Brunsberg.
The marshal going to the church? Are you sure?
Well, of course I'm sure. It's my first big job. Brunsberg's on his way here now. He's going to clear the streets, and I've to help in guarding the place.
So the doctors sold him this miracle story. And the poor fool thinks he'll be cured, too.
Don't talk like that about the marshal. And keep your mouth shut about the whole thing. It's nothing to do with you.
When's Brunsberg coming?
Within the hour. I've got to go over and have a look at the church. We'll have it thoroughly searched. And don't you think I've forgotten how you behaved just now. You watch your step.
Brunsberg coming here. I'll have to work quickly now.
Oh, Yanni, would you?
I can't stop now, Thelma. I have something urgent to do upstairs.
Oh, really? Strange.
Thelma, is the coast clear? Has Yanni gone upstairs?
Yes, Doctor, she has.
Good. This way, my dear. Quietly now.
Thank you, Dr. Drew.
Frankie, you're walking without your crutches. My dear, how wonderful.
I'm very proud of her. She's been a splendid patient.
And you're the most wonderful doctor in the world.
Nonsense. Will you take her away for a few minutes, Thelma? I want to produce her to Yanni like a conjuring trick when she comes down.
Yes, of course. Come with me, Frankie, dear.
Don't be long, Doctor. It's the one thing that'll make it perfect. Seeing Yanni again and being able to walk.
Yes, go along now. Yanni, can you come down here a moment? I've something important to tell you.
Yes, I know.
You know? How could you know?
Never mind. But you've been to see the Marshal and persuaded him your miracles are real. The only real miracle is that he believed you. Both your cures recently were, to say the least of it, very doubtful.
There's been another since then. You will be very interested.
I expect it's another fake. And do you know why these phony cures are being worked? Do you know why you're being used as a bait to trick the Marshal into going to your church? Because up in Johann's room, there's a bomb and guns and a revolver. His window overlooks the entrance to the church. They want the Marshal there so they can murder him.
I don't believe it.
I've searched his room. The weapons were all hidden in a cupboard. I've just hidden them in a safe place where he'll never think to search.
Do you mean to tell me that Johann...
He isn't blind. I told you he wasn't. Don't you see? He belongs to the patriots who want to kill the Marshal. Their problem has been to get somewhere where they could get at him. Well, this is perfect. Johann is supposed to be blind. From his room, he can throw a bomb or pick the Marshal off with a gun as easily as anything.
But it can't be true. I swear those 2 cases were genuine.
No, they were planted on you. All this has been carefully worked out. It's very clever.
It's hideous to use a church to lure a sick man to his death.
Listen, you've got a pass for your Red Cross truck, and you can send it over the border any time you like. I want you to take Thelma and Lily, and Johann too, if he'll go.
But I can't go tonight. The Marshal's coming to the church. It's a wonderful thing that a man like him should come. I must be there.
Is that you, Dr. Drew? I want to talk to you.
Johann.
Oh, you there too, Yanni?
You know I'm here. Take off those useless dark glasses. There.
What do you mean by that?
The Marshal's coming to the church in a few hours. That's what you were so anxious to find out from the doctor, wasn't it? That's what you've been waiting for, isn't it? The bombs and guns you had hidden in your room,
Yanni.
I put them where you can't get at them.
You've searched my room. How dare you?
I dared because I knew you weren't blind. And I suddenly saw there could be only one reason why you were pretending to be. When I heard that you'd got the Marshal to leave the castle to come down here, I knew what the reason was.
Where have you put the things? Tell me.
Stop that! Have you gone crazy?
She's not going to stop me. Not now, when we've waited for months.
You are stopped. We've got to get Dominic, Thelma, and Lily, the innocent people you've implicated, out of this before they're shot. Dominic, get that truck and clear out. Johann, you can go too if you want to, although you don't deserve it.
So you're not turning me over to your pals, then?
I don't like bloodshed either.
That's remarkably illogical coming from you.
All women are illogical. You ought to thank God for that fact. It's saving your skin for you.
Not mine. I'm not going.
But Brunsberg will be here soon. I've got to tell him what happened.
Why have you got to tell Brunsberg anything now you've stopped Johann carrying out his plans? The danger is over.
Yours isn't. If you don't go when you've got the chance, that's your lookout. I've got to live here the rest of my life, and this is my chance, too. Brunsberg and the Marshal will be grateful to me when they hear about this. If you want to stay and listen to me, tell them, well, good luck to you.
I'm all for the truck. How long have we got?
Half an hour at the outside.
All right, I'll go out and get my things together.
This is a nightmare. Johann, a scheming fraud, and you were...
Yes, we know what I am. I shan't see you again. So I'm going to tell you something. If I'd met a man like you years ago, things would have been different. I know how hopeless I am. That's why I want you to go away and be safe. That's why I'm going to Brunsberg. If you'll have me. So now will you get the hell out of here?
Not yet. We still haven't discussed what I wanted to see you about. You can come in now.
Who can come in? There's no time now for
Hello, Yanni.
Frankie!
Yanni, look, I'm walking. I went to the church. I know you told me not to, but he cured me. Dr. Drew cured me. I'm getting stronger every day.
It's unbelievable. It's impossible. I don't know what to say. Oh, God, it's too wonderful. So this is how you repay me for being so absolutely foul to you. I don't think I can bear any more.
Yanni, what is it? What's the matter?
It's all right, Frankie. Your sister's upset because it's been such a shock to her.
Dominic, we're forgetting the danger. Please, please go away and take them all with you, please.
If I go, you're coming with us?
I don't think so.
Paul.
So, you're going to cover up this band of murderers, are you? Oh, yes, I heard your little talk.
Listen to me, Priest Lux.
Save it for Brunsberg. It'll make very interesting listening, Yanni, for Brunsberg, with whom you're on such very good terms. You'd like to know what you're going to help the would-be murderers of our marshal to escape scot-free?
Priest Lux.
Stay where you are, or I'll shoot. This is one gun you didn't hide.
Yanni, I'm all ready. Oh.
Come in, Comrade de Koning. My congratulations on the miraculous recovery of your sight.
So you've told him?
She's told me nothing. I just have a gift for overhearing things. I'm going to ring Brunsberg and tell him exactly what's happened, and by tomorrow we'll have the lot of you shot or hanged. The only one who'll be spared will be little Lily. I'll look after her.
Oh, no, you won't.
Thelma!
Look out, look out!
Have I?
Yes. He's dead. The truck's at the back door, everyone, in the lane. Hurry into it now. We may just get away before Brunsberg arrives.
You're very good, Doctor. But it's no use.
It is. The truck's never searched. I've got a pass. We'll cover you up in the back with a tarpaulin. You'll be over the border in an hour.
Aren't you coming with us?
No, but Johann will look after you. Now, please, come quickly.
Come along, Auntie.
Goodbye, Doctor.
I'll come down and see you off.
Oh, all right. Johann, do hurry.
In a moment. Goodbye, Yanni. Thank you for what you've done. You've ruined my life, but you've also saved it for what it's worth, so I suppose that's something.
Yanni, I don't want to go and leave you. Must I?
It's only for a little, Frankie, darling. I'll join you later when I can. Johann will look after you. Won't you, Johann?
Yes, I will. I promise. Come along, Frankie.
All right. Come soon, Yanni. Come soon.
God.
They've gone.
Dominic, why didn't you go too?
We've been into all that. You refused to go.
Somebody's got to be here to meet Brunsberg, or they'd never get as far as the border.
I realize that. I also realize if he found me missing, he'd phone and have the truck stopped.
You're terribly hurt, aren't you? Because your miracles turned out to be not miracles.
I'm hurt that human beings should behave so cruelly and so blasphemously.
Frankie was a miracle. Even if you did it with your own hands, it was still a miracle.
I know. And if Johann and his friends hadn't worked this trickery, Frankie would never have seen these so-called healings, and so she'd never have come to this house and to me. So you see, she was healed by God as directly as if he had raised her himself. You should give thanks to St. Rita for that.
I know nothing about her. Who is she?
The patron saint of Venice. They said it was impossible to build a city on the sea, but the Venetians prayed to St. Rita and did it.
So she's the saint of the impossible.
The impossible and the hopeless.
What gave them that tremendous faith? There must have been a logical reason.
Not necessarily. I think it was John Wesley who said that an act of complete faith was always a leap in the dark.
A leap in the dark. Dominic, I want you to promise me something. I want you to promise, by the faith you've been talking about, that when Brunsberg comes, you'll keep absolutely silent, whatever I say to him. I know after what's happened you've no reason to trust me, but please trust me now and promise.
I promise.
Thank you. I shan't tell him about the murder plot, of course. But poor Priest Luck's been killed, and we can't hide that fact. I'm going to tell him that I shot him.
But this is suicide. I cannot promise to allow you to destroy yourself.
My dear, you've talked about God's love for us. Well, God knows I didn't kill this man. You say he protects us, shields us from harm. I haven't got your faith. It's all too new and strange to me. But he led Frankie to you, and you healed her. So I'm willing to trust him again now. If I can, surely you can.
Yes, you're right. Of course you're right.
There's Brunsberg's car. The street's full of police. Thank you for everything, Dominic. You've given me so much. I can never repay you in 1,000 years. Thank you, darling.
Oh, Yanni.
Goodbye, darling. I must let him in.
Hello, Yanni. Thank you. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Commissioner.
I just want to have a look around your church before the Marshal arrives. My job, you know, just to make doubly certain of his safety. Where are the others tonight? Comrade Chanovsky and that blind chap.
They're all out. They won't be back till late.
I see. I'd like you to come over to the church with me now, Dr. Drew. Comrade Prislak should have finished searching it, and I expect he's waiting for us.
No, he isn't. He's not there.
Not there? Where the devil is he? I told him to get on with it and report to me.
He's dead.
Dead? But how? I spoke to him an hour ago.
I shot him.
You shot him? Do you understand what you're saying?
Yes, I had to do it.
Why?
If you go up to his room and look in the cupboard, you'll see why. Here's the key, the second door on the left.
Yeah, I'll go at once.
Comrade Commissioner, what did you find?
I thought I knew all there was to know about twisting and double-crossing, but apparently I didn't. That bomb with those guns in the cupboard, the window overlooking the church. Of course, it could mean only one thing. The rat, the treacherous swine. I'm sorry I shot him, Yanni. Shooting's too good for scum like that. Well, you'll find I'm grateful. You'll find I'm a very good friend in the future. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm glad of that, Commissioner. I shall want my wife to have as many friends as possible.
Your wife? You mean you're married to her?
No, but we're going to be, as soon as we can.
Dominic.
Oh. Well, let's get over to the church and see there are no more bombs hidden there. You know, it's a funny thing. I've lived in the capital since the Revolution, but until you started working in the church, Doctor, I've never heard of this St. Rita. Who is she, anyhow?
Somebody very wonderful. Isn't she, Yanni?
Yes. She's the saint of the hopeless. The saint of the impossible.
Well, let's hope she's working tonight.
She is. I'm quite certain of that. She's working very hard tonight.
So ends our Caltex play, A Leap in the Dark. In a moment we will give you tonight's cast and tell you about next week's presentation in the Caltex Theatre. A Leap in the Dark was written by Noel A. Scott and adapted for radio by David Netheim. In the starring roles you heard as Yanni, Lyndall Barbour, as Dr. Drew, Frank Waters, and in the role of Johann, Murray Powell. The supporting cast was as follows: Lily, Amber May Cecil, Paul Prislak, Alan Trevor, George Bunsberg, Gordon Glenwright, Madam Chanovsky, Jean Robertson, Frankie, Judith Godden. Next week in the Caltex Theatre you will hear A Tune for a Trumpet, a bright comedy that tells of the trials and tribulations of a family of English aristocrats in their attempts to make a living out of tourists at their stately home, now that taxation has rubbed most of the gilt off the gingerbread. Be listening for this amusing play, A Tune for a Trumpet, next week. Now this is your compere, Rick Hutton, bidding you good night on behalf of your hosts, Caltex Oil, marketers of Caltex Super Gasoline and Caltex Gasoline, the world-famous RPM 1030 Special Motor Oil, and Marfac Lubrication.